Are Donald Trump supporters having a little bit of buyer's remorse when it comes to the Trump tax cuts? Well, that's what the New York Times went to find when they went and talked to people in Ohio. Now, these are Trump voters, and they asked them about what they feel about or how they feel about the Trump tax cuts and whether or not they have actually helped them. Well, this is interesting. Now, one of them said, quote, "I have seen a little uptick in my paycheck, about what I expected, about $30. Now, that's machinist Matt Kazee, Matt Kazee, who voted for Trump in 2016. Okay. He also added, "It felt to me like about where things were 15 years ago." So, hey, look at that. $30, an extra $30 in your paycheck. Wow. I'm going to give you some numbers on how this has worked out for the rich. But first, we have Brian Barkalow. Now, he's a worker at Requarth Lumber. He told the Times that he feared paying slightly less in taxes now would mean paying more in the future. Quote, "He's pulling out jazz hands and shiny stuff up front and will screw us on the back end." Well, isn't that 100% true? Now, you also have Trump supporter Rob Wright telling the Times that while he's happy to see extra cash in his paycheck, he isn't at all enthusiastic about what he's getting. Quote, "It's just a little extra money I can count on. It's not going to change my life." Wright also said that for coworkers at his machine shop, the tax cut represents a couple gallons of milk and loaves of bread to feed their kids. So now look, this is what we've been saying about the tax cuts, right? These are crumbs. Look, Nancy Pelosi, as much as I don't like Nancy Pelosi, she actually got it right. She's like, yeah, they're crumbs. What the Trump tax cuts are basically crumbs that they're throwing there. They're giving most of that tax cut to the rich, and you're getting basically what's left over. Now, what we see is, look, people get an extra $30. There's a school teacher, and I can't believe Paul Ryan jumped on this. He's like, oh, look at that. A teacher got $1.50 in their check. The tax cuts work. It trickled down. Yeah, well, trickle. I mean, I guess that works because trickle is really small and very, very slow. So that's what you're getting. And then again, look, Brian Barkalow was right. This will screw us in the back end. Because later on, what most people don't understand is that these tax cuts for the middle class are temporary. They will run out. Whereas the tax cuts for the rich are permanent. They last forever. And so you went from 35% for the rich to 21% for the corporations. And look, that will never go away unless we go and change the law. So now Dan Neff, an employee at a machining shop and welding shop, said he was glad to have more money, but that he wasn't going to buy a house with it. Quote, "It's lunch money." Congratulations, Donald Trump just gave you lunch money. He wrings more out of his pockets than he gave the middle class. Like, he finds more change in his couch than he gave the middle class in this tax cut. Again, most of the benefits, 83%, went straight to the richest Americans. Now, nonetheless, and this is the amazing part, Neff says, quote, "Still, it is moving in the right direction." No, it's not. You got to understand, you're not going to get any more from this tax cut. This isn't going to improve. It's not going to get better under President Trump. This is the extent of what he's doing for you. You think there's going to be more jobs and there's going to be more pay now that we've actually reduced the tax burden for the richest Americans and corporations? No. No, it's not going to create more jobs. It's not actually going to boost your pay anymore. There are some companies that are giving token raises. Great, I guess. But most of these companies are also taking away with the other hand. Because, look, You know what they're using their money for? This gigantic windfall? They're using it to buy back their own stocks. And when they buy back their own stocks, who benefits? It's not the worker, it's the CEO, it's the executives, it's the shareholders. Now let me tell you some of the companies, the biggest companies that have bought back their own stock. This is Wells Fargo is one of them. Now, Wells Fargo bought back $22.6 billion worth of shares. Pepsi bought $15 billion worth of their own shares. You also have Amgen with $10 billion, Alphabet, which owns Google. I'm a Google partner on YouTube, but just to be fair, for full transparency and disclosure, they bought back $8.6 billion of their own shares. Visa, $7.5 billion. eBay, $6 billion. Lowe's, $5 billion. Valero, $2.5 billion. Eastman Chemical, $2 billion. On and on and on. Some of the biggest companies that made the most from this tax cut use most of that to buy back their own shares. That's money that they put right back in their own pocket. They didn't go to you. It's not going for your wages. It's not going for your benefits. It's not going to create more jobs. In fact, a lot of the companies that pushed aggressively for these tax cuts, they actually cut jobs. You have AT&T that cut jobs. You had Carrier that cut jobs. You had Harley Davidson's cutting jobs. And they're actually saying, yeah, we are eliminating jobs because of the Trump tax cuts. So, look, that's the truth about these tax cuts. You're hearing it from Trump supporters that are not impressed with what they're getting. Now, if you think that's going to stop them from voting for Trump, again, if he runs again, if he lasts to 2020, I think there are other reasons that people vote for Donald Trump. But it's not about what he promised the economy, because obviously he has not come through. And if you're still supporting Donald Trump, then there must be other reasons that you're supporting him, because it's obvious by now that the wealthiest Americans have received the lion's share of these tax cuts, because that's what was always the plan. Donald Trump always wanted to serve the rich because he is part of the establishment. He is the establishment now. He is the wealthy elite. You got robbed, you got conned. The average, member of the top 1% got around $50,000 in savings from this tax cut, whereas the average American worker got $30. A teacher got $1.50. No. They were never looking out for you. They were always looking out for themselves. They were always looking out for the rich. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.